Hello everyone, we're the team behind Macula. Open your eyes and join us on our visual journey. Macula is our love letter to the visual universe. The film follows Elian, our protagonist who was born blind, as he discovers sight with all the beauty and horrors it entails. As the director, I worked with the cast and crew to carefully sculpt the shots and establish the tone of the film.
I made sure that the lighting setups for pre-production matched the constraints from the shooting. This experience improved my artistic eye as I worked with real lights to reflect the atmosphere of the film.
In this contemplative short film, we explore different moods. Each reflects the state of mind of our protagonist as he evolves.
During the shooting, I prepared the call sheets and schedules, making sure backup plans were available if needed. Also, I organized the crew in different teams depending on the locations to be more efficient.
In order to shoot everything on time, we did not capture the live-action shots sequentially. So one of the challenges I faced was keeping the continuity of elements from one shot to the next one based on the script.
I was responsible for the supervision of the visual effect on set. That included shooting all the necessary plates and elements to make sure that the post-production goes smoothly.
From the beginning of post-production, I used shot grid to keep the project on track. I also arranged for compositors to work on key shots and simpler ones at the same time.
Early in, I quickly made 3D layouts, set dressing and camera movement to get a clear idea of the shots. Then, I was responsible for the lighting of the 3D shots, sometimes matching them perfectly with the lighting on set, and sometimes having the freedom to push them artistically.
When compositing, I tackled a few challenging shots, most notably the long mirror and sand sequences. Using utility AOVs, such as the normal and position passes, helped me relight some parts of the shots when CG was involved and enhanced them even further. I also dealt with some invisible effects for simpler shots, such as cleanups, projections, and background replacements.
Initially, the mirror sequence was half practical, but to have more freedom, we ended up recreating it in full CG. I was in charge of most of the CGI, from modeling to designing the look dev of photorealistic assets. To get more control during the look dev, I exported masks from Substance Painter and created layers of detail in V-Ray.
Our film was a real challenge in terms of effects. I chose to use several solvers to immerse the spectator in a multitude of visual moods. I focused on finding the good balance of the realistic properties and the trippy effects.
To connect a full CG camera to a physical one, I discreetly hid the cut by manipulating the exposure. For this shot, I started by tracking and keying before giving the data to a environment artist. Then, I integrated the actor. I extended the set by projecting the character on a card and manipulating the match move camera.
I was in charge of the FX for 3 key shots. For the building, while translating the 2D concept into 3D, I redesigned it to make the FX more impressive. I developed a lot of small setups that were simple alone but complex when connected together. The other 2 FX were based on more artistic explorations.
Concerning all the sand simulations, since I had to deal with a really tiny particle scale, it was impossible to do everything with grains only. For example, when the building is crumbling into sand, I used the RBD simulation to generate the biggest chunks of the inside and stacked different layers of grains on the outside where the details were needed.
I adapted the shading based on what the effects required, and I chose the software for the assets in relation to the level of details needed.
To optimize some of the shots, we sometimes implemented the copycat feature and taught Nuke how to rotoscope in our stead.
For the trippy corridor sequence, I created a tool to gradually divide the wall along a given distance. I wrote a code that allowed me to subdivide each polygon and procedurally rescale them accordingly. I then programmed the simulations of the painting to happen only if within the camera's field of view. Finally, I added the code to randomly assign textures to the geometry at render time.
Some of the scenes needed photogrammetries to serve as guides for the lighting and effects in order to ground them in reality. I created tools to process some of the trickiest data captured during shooting, such as drone footage and LiDAR scans.
We hope you enjoyed this film as much as we enjoyed making it. Thank you for watching.